Good evening and welcome to the legendary Gold Coast Hotel and Casino and National Finals Tonight. Brought to you in part by Jack Daniels, Coors, Pendleton Whiskey, Boot Barn, Cooper Tires, Ram Rodeo, Justin Boots, the American Paint Horse Association, Preefert, Classic Leather Designs, Cruisin' Rum, Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, J.W. Brooks Hats, Wrangler, Montana Silversmiths, Seagram's Gin, and Boyd Gaming. National Finals tonight with 8-time world champion bull rider Donnie Gay, 8-time world champion cowboy Joe Beaver, and the men and women of the NFR. Sit back, relax, and enjoy National Finals tonight. And now, here's your host, award-winning television personality, Mr. Dan Miller.
What a great-looking crowd this is. Look at that tonight. Welcome. On behalf of Boyd Gaming, we are so honored to have you here for the start of our fifth season for National Finals tonight, and it's good to have a great crowd. We need to check, are there Canadians in the crowd tonight? We're glad. And are there Texans in the crowd tonight? Guess not. And then are there people from Wyoming in the crowd tonight? It's going to be a good night. We are so glad to have you here this evening. And to kick off this night, we're just going to go ahead and bring out the stars of our show here, because they are gathered back there. You are here on a great night, the first night. So let's bring out the star of our show, and I say that just because that's what he wants me to say. Yeah, it's the 8-time world champion bull rider, the one and only, thank God. Donnie Gay is right here. Donnie.
Okay.
Did you
Thank
hear
you
that?
very much. Somebody out there likes me, no matter what you say.
First thing that we heard was, "We love you, Donnie." Thank you, sir. We appreciate that.
How much did that cost?
How you doing?
All right, okay.
How are you?
Wonderful.
We were just talking a little bit earlier, and we're going to talk with our co-host when we get him out here about how things have changed in money and now, and this unbelievable 240 straight nights of sellouts for the National Finals Rodeo here in Las Vegas. Now over 148,000 Donnie hotel rooms in this town. And you've been in darn near half of them, I'm thinking, huh, over the years.
You know, I've been in some of them that aren't even here anymore.
That's what I feel, old Thunderbird. Let's bring out our other co-host out here, also an 8-time world champion, one of the best guys I know. Would you welcome Mr. Joe Beaver right here. Joseph.
You paid a lot of people tonight, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah, y'all collect from him later, okay, because he's bad not to pay up.
Joe Beaver and Donnie Gay, the best in the business when it comes not only to rodeo. You know, I was thinking today, guys, not only is there 16 world titles between you, and there's a lot of world titles, a lot of history coming up for this National Finals Rodeo, but these guys are Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame, and I was thinking today, even if you think about the world of football, and you think about Bradshaw, or you think basketball, and Michael Jordan, nobody on the planet has done what Donnie Gay has done. Only one person in the world has done that, and it's amazing to me to think about that, but it is. And Joe Beaver here with 8 world titles.
Now you're trying to be nice.
Well, I need something. Also, Joe Beaver last night, Donnie, they were passing out awards, and talk about Joe Beaver's award in media last night.
Well, you know, he's won everything that you can win, you know, in the timed event end of the rodeo business, and a lot of people overlook the fact that he's as good with the microphone as he is with a lariat rope, and he was recognized as the best contributor to professional rodeo at the awards banquet the other night, and I thought it was well deserved.
Joe Beaver.
Well, thanks. It was pretty cool.
Joe Beaver.
But it all started right here. We started one day, they called me to do a team rope, and y'all remember that? That's been a while back.
Yes, exactly.
Remember? Yeah, that's what you give me a first chance. So, you know, between Jeff Metters, Donnie Gay, and Dan, they all started it, and it's taken off to be a pretty cool gig. So Yeah, it was neat. Thanks.
We're proud of you, Joe. I want to tell you, too, this show has taken off, as we mentioned, our 5th season. And not only are we on the World Wide Web, and what I want to tell you, let me give you a couple of addresses here. And this is a dandy. If you want to watch on the World Wide Web when you get back home, if you want to call somebody and tell them we're on live, this is what you need to do. And it's a mouthful here. You go on the web at nfr.boydgaming.com, and then the /, and then it's national finals tonight. And we are streaming live on the web. So let me give you that one more time, nfr.boydgaming.com /national finals tonight . Did you get that, Dottie?
We're streaming?
We are streaming.
I
Some
thought
of
you
us,
said
some of us
screaming.
are in a different stream than others, yeah. And then if you have questions tonight during the course of the show that you would like to ask anybody up here on the stage, and we love that we're able to do this now, this is the telephone number that you would text to, 702-LUCK-NFT, 702-582-6238. And that's what you would text if you have a question for Donnie or Joe or any of our guests, and we've got a great night of guests coming up for you.
582-6238. It just irritates the fire out of me whenever you got to look on the L is 5.
You don't even like the KFC, do you?
No.
Go on and say it.
I mean, and I text with one finger.
I want to talk a little bit about money tonight with these two, and then we're going to get right to the rodeo action. Because Donnie won his first world title in 1974, and he was 21 years of age. What did you win that year? How much?
I broke a 20-year record. Jim Shoulders had the season money-winning record in 1954 of $28,900 for Jim Shoulders' 1954 bull riding championship. Now, he won the bareback also and the all-around title, but that was in 1954. In 1974, I broke that record. I won $30,303.
And the go-rounds paid in that year?
The go-rounds in 1974 paid just a little bit over $900 a go-round. And
that was all Confederate money, though, right?
That was a lot. That was a lot. I qualified the year I got out of high school. I made the NFR in 1972. First place in the go-rounds paid $429.
They wouldn't even rope for that now.
No.
Nobody would even show up for that.
So then we come to Joe.
You could have gotten a big fight over it back then.
Then we come to Joe, who won his first world championship when he was 20 years of age, so 1985, right, Joe?
85, yeah.
Do you remember back then?
Yeah.
I'm sure these guys,
Well,
they remember.
I remember it because it was the first year it moved out here to Vegas. You
I know what it was.
And they all the guys were, you know, a lot of the guys that were set in the arena size and
He keeps looking at me.
set in the old Wild West days. You know, I remember them saying all these interviews about how they didn't want to rope or they didn't ride or rope in the little arena and what was the conditions going to be. And I remember telling them, you know, hell, for $7,000, I'll rope in the parking lot. I don't care. And the rounds paid $7,000, right at $7,000, and I won $58,000 that year. Won the Rookie of the Year and won the world by like $15,000. So I mean, $58,000. You know,
They doubled the money coming from Las
Yeah,
Vegas
they
in
did.
'84
Yep.
to here in 1985,
And then now-
that was the first year that anybody had ever furnished rooms for the contestants.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And you heard tonight, Boyd Gaming pays all the entry fees for the contestants here at the National Finals.
and that's
Rodeo.
the thing a lot of people don't realize. You know, I mean, it could go. It needs to keep going up, yeah, every year, and it's getting good and everything. But when they came here, when I first got to come to them, you know, Donnie went the other way. When it was hard, it was a lot. They didn't get the things we got. When we got here, it was a free roll. You know, I mean, I'd never had a free roll in my life. I'd roped at, you know, $20 jackpots and shot dice afterwards to get enough fees to go the next week. So once I got here, that was something, and then those kids today, that gives them something to look forward to. If you get them got them made. The first year I made them, I didn't even know you had to enter them. I missed the books. I wasn't entered. John Rothwell entered me. I thought everybody in the world got a sports news knew I was making them. Surely they knew I was coming, and I didn't know to enter them. You know, John Rothwell didn't enter me. If he wouldn't enter me, I never had the first gold buckle because I wouldn't even have been here.
And now each go around $17,000 plus to win that.
Wow.
Let's talk about this. And how many of you were able to go to the rodeo this evening? Were you, a lot of you were able to go? Outstanding. This is such a start to an exciting 10 days coming up. In case you missed it, in case you missed the television telecast, and now like 45 properties around the city of Las Vegas carry the live feed. But in case you missed out, we have a highlight reel put together for you, and the best color guys in the business are going to take us through that. And Justin, if everybody will roll that in the back there, the highlights from round number 1. Donnie Gay, start us off.
All right, well, we always start with a bareback riding, and Casey Coletti, this guy right here riding a beautiful saw bucking horse, and I mean, this is picture perfect. This is textbook bareback riding. I don't care what era you're from, 87.5 points. Watch the spur ride. His body square with that horse. His back is running right down the horse's back. Both spurs up to the rigging, setting his feet. Before that horse's front feet hit the ground, look at the spurs. That's an 8-second bareback ride. They could have marked him 90 real easy.
And a rookie, wasn't he? First time here?
First time he's here and didn't show no nerve.
In the steer wrestling, guess what? You got to have wheels. First we see Trevor Knowles. Horse runs by strong, lets him get his feet on the ground. If our bulldogging horse will run by strong and not weaken, it lets a bulldogger set the steer's head before he ever hits the ground. Watch this black horse snap by. Trevor's already got his left leg bent, got his left horn pulled over his body before he ever hits the ground. Well, he splits the go-around. Well, guess what? Comes back, same black horse. We're going to see Jason Miller ride him. Watch this. This guy outweighs Trevor by 60 pounds. His feet hit the same way. He threw that steer out of the arena. Now, they're going to give a fourth of what they win to Lee Graves, but to ride that horse, you'd give a half. It's like stealing.
I mean, they're making money because the horse puts you in position to make your ability really mean something.
Both guys got a different go in the arena, same go out of the stirrup. In the team roping, this guy has only been here 2 times. Matt Sherwood, Corey Pesca, a lot. Matt Sherwood was the smartest header here tonight. You saw some of the dumbest loops thrown in the team roping, and I'll say it, that you'll ever see anywhere in the world. Matt Sherwood took an extra swing, make sure he got him caught little horns this year, little fresher steers. They're going to hop around, jump around. If a header doesn't keep pulling these steers this year and make sure his heeler's got a tight rope when he dallies, they're going to lose legs every night. And tonight, prime example, Matt Sherwood, he's been here twice. He's won 2 gold buckles. He don't even know what reality is at the national final.
Well, the classic event of rodeo right here, saddle bronc riding, Wade Sundell. He's from Iowa. You don't think an Iowa guy can ride bucking horses? Watch this. Wild and woolly. He's got his beard going. He's got his spurs going. Setting his feet every jump. This horse turns right back, tightens that circle. Not everybody's going to ride and spur this horse with both feet. And you can watch the leg extension. A lot of guys ride a bucking horse and can stay in the buggy if they don't extend their legs. Look at that. All the way straight, setting his feet, lifting that rein, nearly spurring over his rein every jump. Horse kicking, the timing, that's absolutely outstanding. 85.5 points in first place.
I thought they could have marked him whatever, just like great. Okay, tie down roping, here we go again. Cody O, we talked about it yesterday. He had a practice session. He said, get on the fence and you watch. And you tell me if you see something bad. One thing I changed, and it came back tonight. He's 7-5, wins the go-around, and he makes 2 mistakes. Let me tell you about Cody O. Mentally tough, physically tough. He's been hurt. He knows how to win here. If they let this guy win 3 out of the first 4 rounds, it doesn't matter how far ahead Tough Cooper and Hunter Herron and all 14 others are. He's going to beat their butts this week and put another gold buckle on. He's hard to beat.
How about this barrel racing?
A split right off the bat. That doesn't happen hardly any.
Anybody in here from Canada? Yeah.
Anybody know Martha?
Yeah, Lindsay Sears, comes in, that she's at the bottom of the ground, doesn't bother that horse at all. 14:03, and real nice run.
Right after that,
crowd's going wild.
Don't even have time to sit down.
Race supposed to be over. Yeah. How about this Palomino horse and another world champion, Brittany Posey?
He reminds me of Kelly Kaminsky's Big Gray. Looks like he's loping. You think the clock's not working. All of a sudden, it clocks in. They split the go-around at 14:03. The bell race starts that tough, the bottom of the ground. That says 2 things. Good horses, good ground.
Well, and look out. But the bull riding was everything kind of got started funky tonight. I thought they'd ride 10 out of 15. Shows what I know. Seth Glaus, this guy right here has been here twice before. And bucked off nearly all of them. Didn't win any money before he got here. Wins this go-round. Not a happier guy in Las Vegas than this fella right here. He's like 6'3". I mean, I get a crick in my neck talking to him. This guy, he's just hanging in there tough. and this bull jumps out of it right before the whistle, and he's bucking him off. So it's a good thing that the whistle blows right here, but that's worth $17,000 for Seth Cloud, 86.5 points, and not a nicer guy in the business.
Donnie, honestly, can't you count on one hand the bull rider's been in that far that's all? Because he looks me dead in the eye. I mean, he's my height.
He's big, and he's really tall, but the thing that separates him from most guys, he's a real cowboy. He rides saddle broncs as good as a lot of guys that are here at the NFRs. You know, he can rope, ride, do anything. He's just a good guy.
Where did you say he was from, Donnie?
Oh, here we go. We already started.
Roaming through
You had to start.
Wyoming, that's what it was. Yeah, I just, I didn't hear it the first time.
He likes Texas.
But he loves
Can we have a
Wyoming.
hand for Donnie and Joe doing that live for you? Outstanding, you guys. Outstanding. Let's just get along here. And guys in the audio, if we could get just a hair more monitor up here on us all, that would be a wonderful thing. This guy that we're going to bring out here first, we tried to get him last year at the last night. We always try to do that, and he ends up winning, and we can't ever get him out here. We're thrilled. This show wouldn't be this show without this young man coming out here.
He's rude.
He's rude,
He's
but
rude
it's always
sometimes.
to Donnie, and so it's a good thing. He is the three-time and reigning world champion bull rider J.W. Harris is right here.
Get up!
Yeah.
He's got something. I mean,
Look at him. He's already
he's
looking
got this
funny.
little smirk.
Here it comes.
We need to talk to Mr. Starks and rename this show.
Here we go.
Instead of National Finals tonight, there needs to be a big sign that says the Gay Beaver Show.
That's why he's
He
here.
couldn't wait. He couldn't wait to get here to do that.
Hey, he told the judges that he would have told them to knock him down a point so he could get here tonight and say that.
That's why I didn't stay on.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's my fault for that too.
No, now it's your turn to get back at him.
Oh boy.
We are so glad to have you here, JW. And what an NFR you had last year. As I would say, we wanted to get you on, but not to be. You won the World Championship third time. The last guy to win 3 World Championships in bull riding in a row was? Yeah, he's not going to say.
What's his name?
Donnie Gay sitting next to us. And let me talk about the money, because we mentioned that. You talked about the money you did.
Did you say who's the last guy to win 4?
No. We'll talk about that in a second, yeah.
I got another name.
That's all right, buddy.
Whenever I break his record,
Okay.
I was talking to Jerry Nelson last night,
Yeah.
and I can't say it, but somebody walked.
This is Boyd Gaming. Go ahead, bro. Let him have it.
Yeah. No, somebody walked into the locker room tonight and called you that name.
Oh no.
Shall we go to a different story?
Yeah,
or-
we got to go to another story.
Let's talk money, shall we? Let's move right along here. When we were talking about the money Joe and Donnie won, this gentleman last year at the NFR set the record for the one event. Prize money won at the National Finals Rodeo in one event, $158,000 for one 10-day run, and I think that deserves a round of applause for J.W. Harris.
Okay, enough of that last year stuff. What happened tonight?
It's a tough room,
He
J.W.
wanted to come to the show tonight, didn't you hear?
Yeah, come on, Donnie.
Do you want to talk a little bit about last year and brag on him just a second? Because let me just run
go
down
ahead.
these
Not
things.
really, Donnie doesn't, I promise.
He won 4 rounds last year at the NFR, placed in 8, never lower than 4th. His second average title in 3 years. Just an incredible year that you put together last year at the National Finals Rodeo. And let's talk about now this season for you. You won the X-Bulls at Ellensburg. You won the X-Bulls at Reno, I think. Talk about this year coming into the National Finals Rodeo.
It was, it could have been better and could have been worse, coming in second, and last year I come in 8, but once you get here, what you did throughout the whole year, you can throw that out the window. Because like you said, there's so much money up for grabs now that, you could come from 15th place, but everything's got to fall just right for you. But, it was a pretty good year this year. I'm not going to complain about it because you can't do nothing about it now. So it's done and over with, and we're starting over fresh. And, you just got to try to get here. That's the main thing.
has it been any different for you having your child versus rodeoing all year long before without that? I mean, you know, does that make a difference mentally on you?
To me, it doesn't. I mean, I've worked so hard to stay mentally focused on riding bulls, and because that's my living. And, you know, if I'm not mentally prepared to go out there and do what I'm supposed to do, then my family starves. So, you know, I mean, I treat it the same way as I did 2 years ago. And even before I got married, I go out there, I rodeo and do my business. And then when I'm not rodeoing, then I'll, you know, try to think about that. And, you know, but I've got to stay focused to ride bulls, and you can't go out there thinking about, well, my kid needs new shoes, or my kid pooped her pants today before the rodeo, and you've got to.
You always hate that.
Gotta love it, but when you show up to a rodeo, that's what you got to be thinking about, is what you're there for, and then after it's over with, then you can go think about whatever you want to.
Now, 2 years ago, you came into this so far in the lead. You broke your hand, won the world title, going away still. And all three of you, Joe and Donnie, can answer this question. Is it tougher for you, JW, coming in the lead, or are you more challenged when you're right in the hunt? And what I want to say about JW, Joe was talking about mental toughness. Behind this great grin that this guy has, he is as mentally tough a guy as I've been around in the business. He knows what he wants and he goes after that. But for all three of you, coming in the lead or that challenge of making up ground, JW, you start first.
I've always come in from behind except for the 1 year, and you know, to me, if you're mentally focused, it doesn't matter whether you come in 15th or 1st. You're there to do one thing and one thing only, and that's to ride all 10. And that's my goal every year I come here, is I want to ride all 10. And so now I got to start over and ride all 9 of them. But, you know, so I don't think it matters to me. You know, I could care less what position I come in, just as long as I'm here.
Let's go ahead. Since he mentioned he has 9 to ride in a row now, let's take a look at tonight's effort, if we will, and you and Donnie can talk about this. And this was in round number 1 back there. If you can pull that up, guys, and take a look at JW tonight.
Go ahead,
Donnie.
JW. Just what you're feeling right there.
When that bull kind of looked right, and I just kind of slid over just a little bit, and shoot, I mean, that bull felt me and just left me hanging. And I mean, whenever I left the buck and shoots, I was sitting over there to the right, and, you know, it was a stupid move on my part. You know, you're supposed to ride them jump for jump, and that's what happens when you try to set a trap on one.
Well, y'all run that back. Let me see that one more time, because watch the bull and the forward motion. The very first, whenever he looks to the bull doesn't just look to the right. Well, see that forward jump whenever he comes out of the buck and shoot, puts him in bad position. JW rode him around and a half, bucked off and just didn't want to give up. But what this jump right here, that one there slides you back and moves your hips over into your hand, and you're stuck right there. You almost got back. I see you kick your legs loose, but, you know, that's one of those things, you know, I would always it's hard not to get aggravated whenever they say, well, you know, gosh, you're the world champion, and you bucked off. Well, your name's JW or Joe. You're not Superman, and that's going to happen. You're not going to ride every one of them, but you're going to think you're going to ride every one of them, because your focus is to ride. And all you can do is get out there, jump at a time, go react, you know, because this is happening, everything in 8-second sound bites. And all the prognosticators, we get to have a good time with it. But to answer your question, JW was spot on. Doesn't make any difference if you're in the lead or if you're coming from way back. That doesn't really matter. If you don't win and ride good and rope good and thrill yourself every single time that gate opens, then somebody's going to beat you. Just like Cory Wall. If they mess around, he'll spank them just because of the way he comes to rope.
Well, it's just like JW said, he's got, now I'll start over and ride 9. That's what you do. If
I
you
always
mess up
wondered, my
once, you
goal was
come
to
back.
ride 10 too, and I tried 13 times and never did ride 10. I rode 9
Yeah,
a couple of
but
times.
you got gold buckles out of it because you never quit. The difference in a guy coming in, I think, in the lead and thinking he's got a better chance of winning it is because he's not as comfortable and secure with every night trying to win as a guy that comes in 14th or 3rd or 7th and says, I don't care, I'm going to win the world, and I'm going to win every night. Some of those guys, and I mean, you've all known them, and I've known them too, they come in the lead, they're a different cat. If they come in the lead, they think they got some momentum, they got some thought in their head, they got some positive thought, they're going to win. And you let them come in 4 or 5 down, you don't even have to worry about them. But the difference in that is, how many gold buckles?
3,
How many you working on?
10, 12.
That's the difference. It's just like me and Donnie. We don't have one. A lot of those guys have one because they came in the lead and it was easy. But guess what? The second one's hard. The third one's harder. The fourth one's harder. But that's the difference between a winner and a guy that gets a gift every now and then. Not saying any gold buckle's a gift, but we all know people like that. They wouldn't be worried about riding 9. They'd be worried about bucking off 1. You can't worry about that to win a gold buckle.
Well said. We've got somebody has texted a question up here for J.W. Harris. And they want to know what you think was your best ride this year.
So far.
Yeah.
I would probably have to go back to, it's kind of, there's a couple I've got. The short round in Reno, and the only reason that is I wish Don Kish was here. This was his.
Was that the big white bull?
Yeah, the big white muley.
Oh, God, I agree.
And I mean, this sucker, and I have a hard time with bulls that move, that are kind of moving ahead in the spin into my hand, because sometimes I want to raise up to them and try to make them look pretty, but I really had to work the hardest I've had to work in a long time just to stay on that bull. I mean, he was bucking, big, long, great, kind of an old school looking bull, big white muley, around the right, and just was hard to get by. And then I rode at Pueblo, just got back off of a 20-hour flight coming back from Brazil, and went to Pueblo and got on Palm Springs and was 94 on that bull. And that was, probably the 2 highlights of the year.
Palm
on that bull.
Springs is bucking bull of the year. He's bucking bull of the year. But you remember doing the call at the Extremes in Reno, and how pumped and excited I was just doing the call, because that was, I didn't see your ride at Pueblo on Palm Springs, but I'm going to say that he was much more fun to ride than the one you rode in Reno, because that sucker had you bucked off, had a chance to buck you off from the first round and a half all the way through, and you were almost out of position, but you never left there. I was so impressed. That was a great ride.
Was it a 94? Does that score, remember? I'm trying to think back.
I don't even.
Reno
I
was
just
don't
remember
care about
Donnie
the scores.
going nuts.
I don't
Yep,
care about the
yep.
scores. I
Reno
care
was
about the ride. I've
92,
seen some
but-
good 80-point rides.
Outstanding.
That bull compared to the bucking bull of the year, the bucking bull of the year was 10 times easier to ride than that big white muley, because like Donnie said, every jump he could have thrown me off, and I just had to keep my hand close and wait for the whistle.
We appreciate the question. We appreciate this guy. He is everybody wants J.W. Harris during the National Finals Rodeo, and we appreciate him coming out here. And we hope that when I talk to you today, I hope you can come back next week and visit with us again as you close in on another world title.
Don't ask me for the last day.
I won't ask you for the last day. Would you pay off
can
this
ask me, but I
three-time
won't.
world champion, reigning world champion, J.W. Harris? I just briefly to you guys, you can just feel the difference in that. And I don't know how many, and Donnie, of course, he's chasing after you, but you can just feel.
Well, I'm his biggest fan.
I know, that's right.
I want him to be able to experience the chase. It's not. When I won my 8th world title and broke Jim Shoulder's record, it wasn't the breaking of the record that was paramount and so much fun. The thing that was so much fun to me was the chase from 3 to 4 to 5 to 6, and then I got get to 7.
It's the proving to yourself
And
what you can do.
if you don't thrill yourself every time you get up out of bed, then you probably should have stayed asleep.
But 7 would be fine with you too, or if he gets 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Let's move along because we have a lot of ground to cover yet. We're going to bring out this young man who was here with us last year, and his life has changed. He's been nominated for Bullfighter of the Year 5 times, and he won that in 2009 as an alternate this year, and one of the great guys of rodeo, and we're glad to have him here. Would you welcome Cory Wall is here with us this evening. Cory.
Come on down.
Welcome, sir. Good to see you. Cory Wall is in the house, and he's got that beautiful Boyd Gaming patch on his shirt, so he is working when he is here tonight. And let's take care of business first with your family. The last time you were here, your wife was...
Well, it was 2 years ago tonight, and she was actually carrying our baby girl, but our baby girl was only 3 months old inside of her.
Inside her.
Yeah, so she's 16 months old now. Or, is that right? Yeah, 16 months old. The months deal, when do you quit counting by months and just start saying they're years old, you know? But she's 16 months old now, and so my lovely bride.
Do you want to point them out to us over here?
And our daughter, Sailor. And
I see her. I see her right there.
Beautiful, yes.
And
There she is.
She's been to more rodeos than most people. She was born at a rodeo, and she's been to about 100 since.
That's good. That just means she'll be able to work you better and better the older she gets.
Her first word was horsey. Oh, boy.
Not daddy, not mama horsey. You're working here double time here while you're here in Las Vegas, and talk about what you have going on out at Sam's Town and how you're involved with that, Cory.
Yeah, every night we're going to be out there. I think I'm out there from like 5 till midnight or 12:30, and you know, they have a mechanical bull riding deal that's going on, a competition. They're trying to get people, you know, to come over there and hang out and watch the NFR, and a lot of activities going on. And so we'll be out there at Sam's Town every night, and I get the pleasure of being involved with that. I'm actually judging it for them, and so just a lot going on. You know, you come to Vegas, no wonder this town.
You know, judges can get in a lot of trouble.
I knew that was coming. You brought it up. You should have never brought the judging up.
Cory Wall has worked like 234, 235 performances of Fort Worth. And so tell us what your year coming up is like for you, Cory.
You know, not much has changed. You know, a lot of people ask me, well, what's new? You know, not really much has changed. I still go back to most of the same rodeos that I've always gone to. And, you know, now I go to Fort Worth, I work their extreme bull riding, and instead of working the whole rodeo. And I've just kind of spread it out and going to a lot of different places. And a lot of the same rodeos, the great rodeos that I get to work. You know, I've been doing this for 22 years, and I'm still got the best rodeos in the world calling me. And so, man, it's a real blessing. And I go to San Angelo, Texas every year, and Rodeo Houston, Fort Worth, Colorado Springs, all over the country. And so it's a pleasure, and also, you know, like I say, it's a blessing. I get to take care of my family and take them on the road with me.
This is one question I want to ask, because you do a lot of instructing for bullfighting. And what I appreciate about Donnie, and I've never seen Joe do an instruction, but I'm sure that you're the same way. I have seen Donnie, and he's the most honest guy I know. And sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad, but he can't help it. It just comes out like it does with Joe. But I've seen him at a bull riding school go up to somebody and say, you know, I think Albertsons is hiring. You know, maybe you might think about something else to do. And
He's trying to get around to saying my bedside manner escapes me sometimes.
No, but I appreciate that from you with these kids, but I want to ask you the same way when it's dangerous business what you do, and do you take that approach?
Yeah, you know, and I think the difference is, you know, Donnie, he loves to golf, and he's honest with everything that he does. But, you know, it'd probably be okay for him to say to a young golfing guy is, yeah, keep trying, you'll eventually get it. But with bull riding, you keep trying to get it someday. I mean, it could be very costly because it's so dangerous.
You can really get it someday.
Absolutely.
And are you the same way with the bullfighting?
Yeah, you have to be. You have to be honest, and then those guys they're paying you to be honest with them. And I tell them the first day, you know, I'm not here to be your buddy or just pat you on the rear end. I'm here to tell you whether or not this is something you can do or not. Because if it's not, I don't want to put you in a situation where it may cost you, you know,
Is it hard to say with a straight face, now, okay, kid, now when this bull comes out and he sees you, and you're in the middle of the arena and you're all by yourself, go to him. Can you say that with a straight face?
I can say it, but I've had a lot of practice.
Yeah, but do they take it very good?
We all started
I would
somewhere.
look at you and go, you are crazy, man.
We all started somewhere, and that's what was told to me. Bull's coming at me, and I'm thinking, nope, I ain't. No, I'm going to just do what's natural, and that's just take off early. Well, then I found out that didn't work. And so then it's like, you know, I ought to listen to somebody that's been there, done that. And that's what's helped me. And so I pass that on to younger guys. You know, learn from my mistakes that I made, and here's how we can help you get better.
Two quick things I want to ask you now, because you've been at it, as you say, for 22 years. I want you to comment on Dusty Tuckness, a young man that's, where's he from?
TT Wyoming.
He's from
Wyoming,
Wyoming.
Yeah. He's from, but comment on him now winning his third, and just he's exciting to watch.
He's a great young man. And he's, you know, he's a close friend of mine, and we work Rodeo Houston together and some other rodeos. And, you know, what he's doing at his age is incredible. I mean, you know, a lot of guys at 24, 25, they're pretty reckless, and you know, and they do things that will only work for maybe a year or two at a time, because then they're so broke up and beat up that they can't do it anymore. But he's able to do that, and it looks reckless, but I tell you, he's in very much control, and he knows what he's doing. And when I get to work with him, it's a pleasure, because not only do I know that he'd be there for me and vice versa, but he's just a quality guy, and he's very humble. And he's not out there to get the pats on his back. He's out there to do a great job and glorify God in what he's doing.
He's a good young man. The last thing I would like you to talk about, we see Get Her Done, Larry the Cable Guy, is a sponsor of yours. Tell us how that happened with Dan.
You know, I actually met him at Omaha, Nebraska at the rodeo up there, and one of the guys that's his PR guy or whatever was at a rodeo that I was at, and he just kind of got talking to me about it, and boy, we hooked up, and all of a sudden he introduced me to him, and he wanted to get involved in rodeo, and he's got a team of guys together, and he's been great. I actually go to a Nebraska football game with him every year, just to get to hang out with him, and so he's been just a wonderful asset to rodeo.
Have you got him to get in front of a bull with you?
I actually got him in the barrel.
Yeah.
Yep, I
You
put him in the
did?
barrel down at Rodeo Houston. We put him in the barrel for his TV show, and he literally, well, he threw up a little bit in the barrel.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. And he was sick for 3 days after it. And, you know, and I talked to him a few times, and he said that was the craziest thing he'd ever done, you know. But not only him, you know, Justin Boots is a great sponsor of mine, and now Boyd Gaming. I'm just in awe of the company that I'm getting to be a part of here at Boyd Gaming.
We're glad you came. Now, I don't have to tell you, it shows. He's also a minister and just one of the great guys, great ambassadors for the world of rodeo. Cory Wall, would you give him a hand, please? And go see him out at Sam's Town. Go try to ride the mechanical bull out there. No throwing up allowed.
You know,
Thank you, Cory.
I think that pays pretty good. We might want to go out there, Joe.
Number one, they're judging, and me and you don't get along good with judges. And number
Okay.
two, you got to ride something that moves. I ride something that runs straight and stops straight. No ducking, no bucking, none of that bull.
Okay.
Donnie, you alluded to it, and it's always amazed me, but all the thousands of bulls that you've been on, but still the idea of doing what they do, just
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, anybody who says that they're not scared when they're riding bulls is either lying or his elevator don't go all the way up to the top. Now, that's number one. So if you're riding the bull and you're making a living, they're paying, you know, good money, keeps you from having to get a real job, and you can do good, but and while you're on the bull, you got the best seat in the house, and if you don't give it up, you can't get hooked. You can't get hurt. But when you get on the ground, things are beginning to go steadily downhill from there. So I don't spend much time in there on the dirt floor. Those guys, they walk out there on purpose. I mean, that's crazy.
We've got a question that's come in. Let's have both of you answer this quickly. We're talking about money, and I already know the answer to this just by reading it. Do you think the money being paid today is too much compared to, is there sour grapes on your part? And I don't think so at all. More power
When
to
I won $50,000, a red Cadillac with white tuck and roll leather seats cost $5,500 with an 8-track tape player in it. Now they cost $65,000. So there's a little bit of relativity in all this, and not the least bit jealous, because what I was winning when I was going was a lot to me, and that's all that mattered.
Well,
And you know, in all sports and everything today, whenever they talk about money, I don't look at the money no more than I look at the scores. I look at what they've won. How many times they win first, second, third, fourth, and you know, whenever you walk into the secretary and you get the check, I don't care if it says 1 or with a lot of zeros or too many. I beat all of y'all.
well, it's still
That
the
made
same
me
way.
feel good. I like doing that.
It's still the same way. It doesn't matter how much money's paid if you don't win.
Right.
If you're not a winner and you don't put all you have into it, and today I think it's even more so maybe than when I was rodeoing, and a little more like there was a few of me and there was a few of you, But now, I mean, you know, you look in the time events, I'm just going to say there's 45, there's 60, there's 40 guys that work at it every day, all day. And
That's all they do.
they deserve to get the bigger money, and they deserve to win more because they put more into it. You know, I bought the best horse going in '85 for $10,000, and everybody thought I was crazy because he was 16 years old, and then back then nobody bought old horses. And I sold one the other day for $75,000. It wouldn't pass the vet check. You know, I mean, it's all about winning. So yeah, you get more money.
Guys, he's
You
walking.
did what?
Gary,
Just tell
He
that whole
was just
story.
a little sore. He wasn't crippled. He was just a little sore.
There you go.
Gary
Just
Leffew,
so.
stop and wave at
Come
me back
horse
there,
traders.
Donnie. Gary Leffew is making his way upstairs, and tell him why back there.
All right, Gary Leffew, world champion bull rider, and my buddy, and one of the guys that helped me really get going and learning how to win. I knew
This
how
is
to
your
ride a
fault. This is your fault, Gary.
But you know, he was the hot man, and I was baby hot. It was a long time ago, and you know, Gary still has all his hair. Is the only thing that really aggravates the crap out of me, you know. But I tell you what, when we finish here, if you take that escalator upstairs and go to Gary Leffew's Buck and Ball, if you want to dance and have a good time and socialize, that's the place. George Strait, Ace, and the whole band's upstairs, and we're going to have a good time. It's in this town tonight.
At Boyd Gaming, it's supposed
Every
to be.
night.
Yep. We've got more to, Gary, good luck to you. We'll see you up there. Thanks, Gary Leffew right there. We have more ground to cover here. Let's bring this gentleman out. He has never, in the 5 years, he's never been on here with us. He's been to the National Finals Rodeo 20 times.
20 times qualified.
Qualified 20 times, and was due to come here last year, and we'll talk about that. But would you welcome Canadian saddle bronc rider extraordinaire Rod Hay is here this evening. Rod, look at that jacket, boy. How are you?
All right. Calgary Stampede.
Rod, before you even sit down, stand up and let's turn around and take a look at this back.
There's
of
only
this.
about 8 of these jackets right now, but there's going to be a bunch of them in there.
The Calgary Stampede right there, yes
Year
indeed.
100.
Yeah, the 100. They need more.
Donnie's water broke. All right, let's keep...
Touche.
We've been waiting on that to happen, and he's been right there.
You know, he's working on a raise any day. Yeah.
Rod, we started talking about last year, but we'll let you tell the story of
Funny.
of coming in here. Last year you had qualified 20th National Finals Rodeo, but in June, I'll have you describe the injury that you suffered.
Yeah, it was a tough one. It was just unfortunate. I've been bucked off quite a few times and know how to get away and get out. This is one of them deals. A really great horse, but it was bucking harder at the whistle than at the start. So I knew I needed to be wide open too. As there was 87 points, was winning the rodeo, so I knew I had to do as good a job as I could. And right towards the whistle, I was kind of overextended and kept my feet going and got her in the neck one last time, and the whistle went, and she blew me out over and then rolled my foot. And as she bucked me off, it just spun my body, and my foot stayed solid. So, and I thought I kind of tore some ligaments up the way it just twisted, and I don't know, it's probably, we'll have to do a little work on it and tighten some ligaments up. And so went the next morning to the sports medicine guys in Calgary, and they're moving around. And he said, "It doesn't feel like ligaments." He said, they took a picture of it, and it was
He went the next morning.
Is it about 35 pieces, I guess, from here up to here? It was-
35 pieces.
Yeah, it was scattered up.
Some
pretty good,
kind of
so-
it was called a spiral fracture.
Yeah, no, it was more of an explosion. It went from here up to
Fracture
here. and-
hell, huh?
That's what I'd have called it.
But they put it back together pretty good, and it healed up pretty good. But they'd had to take some of the stuff out, and that's what ended up being a little shorter there. So if anybody saw me here last year, it was a little crooked, and a lot crooked. And so then they had to go in after March of this year. They went back in and put some wedges in there and shimmed it up and did a wheel alignment and got her all
What
got her all
does it feel like
straightened
now?
out. It feels really good. Oh yeah, it's good. It's straight. It's strong. It wants to go. The thing it doesn't want to do is go back all the way, which everybody says the money's in the main anyway. But I got a feeling if it doesn't come back all the way, it might not work that great. But I'm still working on it. We're therapy and bending on it. And
I know that it's working. You're turning your toes out. I mean, is it going to get some more bronc riding or?
well, I'm that's my goal. My goal is to get it back to 100%, and I think if you don't work hard at it now, well, you know, it's never going to be. So, you know, I want it to be as good as it can be for the rest of my life, whether it rides broncs or not. But I definitely felt that, you know, if I felt I was going downhill at the time that the injury happened, that I may be okay with just being done with it. But I felt I was still riding pretty good, and I had a pretty good lead in the world standings when it did happen, and I kind of felt I was riding as good as I ever had in my life. So that's kind of where a guy feels that, you know, you'd want to come back and give another try, because I didn't really feel like I was going downhill yet, right?
That's where you got to come back. That's what we talk about the winner all the time. You know, Donnie and I have talked about it. You can be down, but when you're hurt, when you get hurt on the top, you didn't have a pretty good lead. You had a big lead, and you were riding good, and you know that you can come back if your body will let you. And when you get to that point, that's when it's self-satisfaction. That's what Donnie talks about all the time, about getting up out of bed and proving that you're a winner. If your body will let you, there's no doubt in the world that you'll be back here again. You just got to get to that point.
Yeah, and it's going to take work, and it's painful going through the therapy and pushing it and getting it all the way it is. But, I mean, in the end, when you can walk into this rodeo and get on, and it's quite a feeling when you get on at this rodeo and be successful and stuff, and it's addictive, and you know, it's hard to say that you're not going to at least make a 100% effort to get back.
Rod, it's painful to have a real job that's not rodeo and riding broncs. So if you can get well and get back, I say, and I think I told Joe this a number of times whenever he was thinking about quitting. I'm telling him, don't quit until you absolutely, positively can't win anything anymore. I'll promise you. There's a lot more life after you stop winning than you think there is.
Well, I want to quickly, because I'm going to bring out a couple of guys here to tell a Rod Hay story or two, but it's a family business for Rod Hay. His brother came to the National Finals Rodeo 4 times. Brother-in-law, Glenn O'Neill's a world champion as well. You have 3 sons. What I want to ask you is, are they in the business as well? Do they rodeo?
Oh, the middle one's riding steers up there now, and he's
All right.
He's a pretty good steer rider. The older one's he broke his arm a couple times riding steers, and he's decided that his hockey career is more important to him right now, and he's interested in, you know, maybe when he gets older, but it's something that if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's not a huge deal, but they're athletic and they're ranch kids, and so I would imagine they'll try it, but it's hard for me to say for sure. But that's the one thing that has really helped me through this year and a half being, you know, I thought life is going to be really boring without rodeo. You know, it's just, you're used to being on the road 200 days a year and lots of excitement and lots of challenges every day, and all of a sudden that doesn't happen, but then all of a sudden you find out what you've been missing at home with 3 kids, and I don't know how my wife kept things rolling there. It's pretty nuts there, and so we've really, the transition hasn't been that hard as far as being bored or anything like that. It's almost the other way. So, but I don't know. I would really like, the thing about rodeo is it's so enjoyable, and I think that's more than anything. You miss all your friends, and you miss, you know, you don't miss the late night drives, but you kind of miss the challenges every day and pushing yourself to be.
You sure do.
Since you brought that up, late night drives. You know, everybody likes to come to this show to learn the other things about people besides, we know he rides broncs good, right? There's 2 people, and I always wonder about this, if they shorten your leg or if it got weaker. There's 2 people, if you catch a ride to a rodeo with, you can beat the charter planes, okay? It's Monty Lewis and Rod Hay. I caught a ride with Rod Hay from Casper, Wyoming one night. They had to wait on me because I was in the team roping after the bronc riding and stuff. We were headed to Calgary the next day, the short go. There were people that got on an airplane that I ate breakfast with the next morning in Calgary, and we drove. So if anything that right leg might do, it might shorten it a little bit on the gas pedal, but it won't hurt his bronc ride none. I got faith in him.
There's a couple of guys that I want to bring out here, Joe, that might have a Rod Hay story, and I'm thrilled that these guys are here. I'm honored to always be up here with the best. Are you gonna you want to say something, Donnie? Do you want to say something smart or what?
No, actually, you know.
Just a wild guess.
How you want to take that?
No, I mean, because I wanted you to get these guys to come on out
Yes.
and everything because to talk about the 100th anniversary of the Calgary
Yes.
Stampede. You know, because
Exactly.
they got some really good look out.
Let's bring these guys out. Oh, my Lord. Yes, right here. 24 times Bob Tallman's announced the National Finals Rodeo. 16 times Boyd Polhamus right here. Give these guys a hand, will ya?
So before we talk about Roddy, did his water break really?
Shut
Look
up.
right
So
here.
the first
Look
gay
right
man
there.
is going to have a baby. Could donate you to science. You look pregnant.
It's starting to look.
I don't get
Bob
it.
Tallman, I
I
want
wanna
you
be
to tell
between
a
you guys.
Calgary and a Rod Hayes story, if you will. Yeah, keep
Bob,
talking.
I wish you could
Come
get
on.
some.
Check.
Yeah,
Bob,
there you go.
Do you-
I wish you could get some good help with Mr. P90X over here.
I didn't do the X.
Yeah, I mean, that's good.
I'm his ex.
I feel bad.
I mean, he's been doing that P90X, and he's been here, and he's been sick all week long. I'm sitting there going, man, I ain't doing that.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything, for the flu. You want a Rod Hayes story?
I do from you because of your connection with Calgary and this guy.
Well,
and
I've been
just,
watching him since he was like 12 years old. He and his brother Denny. And did you talk about Denny at all?
we just mentioned that.
Because
Yeah.
I'll tell you something. He is a multi times champion and should be a world champion 2 or 3 times. But I'll tell you, the guy that may try harder than he does, and he knows what I'm talking about. I've seen Denny Hayes spur a horse so hard, try so hard, buck him off over the fence in a Coliseum at Regina or
No, that was at Edmonton.
at Edmonton.
Yeah, right over.
With the
Didn't touch a
Canadian.
rail or anything.
Never even touched the rail. That's how, they talk about cowboying up and trying. Just reach and jab and stuck him out in one stirrup over the top 6'6" panel into about the 3rd or 4th row. And so you don't just get Denny, you don't just get Rod. You get Rod, Denny, their mom, their dad, their sister. This is an entire family. And this is where try and the concept of cowboying up. The only 2 times he got hurt was when that leg exploded, although we've been watching you in the back. And one time when he fell out of an announcer stand because somebody took the ladder. I'm not supposed to tell that story, am I?
I don't remember that one.
I don't either. Somebody
reason
took
you
the
fell
ladder
off without
away.
the ladder.
He was doing stunts. I see Cliff Happy's out here tonight, one of the greatest stuntmen in Hollywood.
Clifford out there?
Yeah, Clifford and Marguerite. I saw him on the camera. They didn't even know we saw him. But there's more stories. The story he told about driving. Canadians, there's 2 or 3 things they do too much: speed and smoke.
I was sure drinking beer was going to be in there.
Hot beer, not just beer, hot.
Room temperature, Labatt's Blue.
For me, a memorable one is Houston's a pretty big deal, pretty big rodeo, and he won it as a rookie in '89. And then I saw him getting a ride-off with Billy Etbauer for $50,000 a year before, and the same year that he ended up exploding his leg. Was it Lunatic Fringe? Lunatic?
Yes, yeah.
He rides Lunatic Fringe. It's like 20 years later, 20 years after his rookie season, he comes back to Reliance Stadium, no longer in the Astrodome, in front of 70,000 people for 50 grand on the line, after having lost a ride-off with Billy the year before, and wins the whole thing. And when he said earlier that he was riding the best of his career at the time his leg broke, I would agree with that. He's made a lot of great rides over those years, but man, he was on fire.
I want to give you the chance to talk about Calgary Stampede a little bit, Rod, and the reason for the jacket and the big year.
Well, and I feel pretty fortunate. They just came out with these jackets. These are next year's the 100th centennial, and it's going to be spectacular. I've just now found out a lot of the stuff that's going to happen in Calgary next year, and it's really fantastic. Calgary's always been cutting edge rodeo, and they've really changed stuff with the ranch. It's 50-year anniversary of the ranch. No other rodeo has their own ranch and breeding program, and the things that Calgary's done for the whole sport of pro rodeo, just by bringing the $50,000 and the Final Four format that's been used all over, and a lot of the things that make rodeo better actually started in Calgary and the people there, and so it's going to be a great year, and yeah, I feel pretty fortunate to get the first run on the 100th centennial jackets. They look
Go ahead, Bob.
pretty darn nice.
He keeps looking at me. There's a lady sitting right there in the same coat. Melissa, stand up real quick. This lady is one of the finest producers, coordinators, And she's been doing it since she was about 16, 17 years old.
She's
And-
only 20.
She's 26. She is producing the behind the scenes and the effects and all that happens. In the 35 years that I've been blessed to be a part of the Calgary Stampede, you have to understand that we've seen it there when it's 105, 54 Celsius. Oh, the Celsius thermometer only goes to 50, and then it explodes like his leg. But I've seen it 105 degrees there on a Tuesday afternoon and Wednesday, have it snowing straight down. Watched him rope, watched him ride. One day in the mud butt deep, and the next day with tumbleweeds blowing through the arena and dust. We judged the entire rodeo by the most gigantic Canadian flag, maple leaf flag. It's at the south end of the main grandstand. And we watched that flag, and then you watch between those two grandstands, and you see it coming out of the south west of where those storms will come through. And we can have 4 different seasons between noon, Calgary time, and between when the rodeo's over. Then we tear down the entire infield, everything, and move in the stage for the night show, which comes in on 60 sets of truck-sized duels, 600 young Canadians as volunteers, and they do the night show. And in between all of that, we have this thing called chuck wagon racing, and we'll put in 25 to 27,000 in the daytime, 10 days in a row, sold out. And infield tickets are $400. The end seats in the sun are $250. They put the wives of contestants and everybody where we can reach them with television in $250 seats. They make you go eat every day before you get there in a big tent, and then you have to go drink, what's that beer?
Labatt's Blue.
Labatt's Blue beer and other adult beverages when it's over. And then they take you to the airport, they come back and get you. They take you to the hotel, they come back and get you. They take you to restaurants, they take the kids to the water park. They do something. When you fly into Calgary during that time, the airport is lined up with 100 volunteers in white Calgary Stampede hats. They've got little white paint, they dip it in, and they stamp you with the Sea Lazy S, this brand. There is not a city, and I am a true American, born in Nevada, live in Texas. There is not a city in the world that can emulate the Calgary Stampede because it's born into them. The 2 things you do. You go to the Calgary Stampede and you play hockey. Otherwise, they cut your legs off and you live in a wheelchair the rest of your life in Saskatoon.
Well,
Joe,
you
come
know,
on over here and sit
I left a tooth in the arena the first time I went to Calgary, and I found out what 222s were.
Oh, my God.
And they work,
Codeine
buddy.
aspirin.
Let me jump in here. Rod, just stay out here with us. Boyd, I want to talk to you. He is univac, uniblab of all the stats. He's unbelievable with what he does.
Yeah, there you go. Call
So
me
there's a
fat.
couple of topics I want to touch on quickly. First of all, outside of the all-around title, everything else is up for grabs, Boyd.
Yeah, well, I mean, with $17,800 day monies, I mean, you just look. I mean, Casey Field comes in #1 and then puts a show on like that, and he's putting distance, but there's so many rounds left with the average paying $45,000. It's way too early to look at any of the math. The one thing I'd point out, too, in the timed events is when you're riding the best horse, chances are you're going to place, and Trevor Knowles and Jason Miller are riding the best horse in the steer wrestling, and that's with all due respect to all the others. That's another Canadian horse, belongs to Lee Graves. Jesse, he's amazing, and they won split first. And when you look at the tie-down roping, you can just see the guys that you're used to watching win. And I'm telling you right now, guys, that Cody O wants another gold buckle.
I agree.
You better not bet against him.
Let me
Do
throw
not
out a
bet
couple of
against him.
storylines for
Okay.
you, because it is up. And what I guess I wanted to say, Boyd, it's all up for grabs. Nothing is locked up for anybody outside of the all-around.
Absolutely, and even in the barrel racing, I mean, the way
Yes.
it's unfolding, you could end with it. You know, I mean, between Lindsay, Brittany, and Sherry, you're going to be able to, you could close the rodeo with the barrel racing because it's going to be that close.
Okay. What I want to do is have Joe, and I talked to you earlier about this today, just a couple of storylines, and let's start with Trevor Brazil. All the different things possible. This may be, for the National Finals Rodeo, the most storylines, the most fascinating things could happen, whether it's saddle bronc riding and Taos Muncie being the first, to win both the Canadian and this one in the same year. There's all kinds of storylines, but I want to talk about Trevor Brazil, all the things he could do Joe, and just you comment on Trevor, if you would, quickly.
You know, I mean, he kind of shot himself in the foot tonight with one of them, but he could easily win 4 world championships this year. The team roping, as we all have seen it, it's either dirt dag tough every night or it's a give me to win. Tonight we saw 5 teams, I think, go out of the average. We saw legs roped. We saw teams be long. Trevor just went and knocked one down. But the team roping is far from being over. He's got a really nice head horse. It's going to be a scoring contest this week. It's not the same old be throwing over the chute. He's got the steer open. He won the steer open. He's got the all-around one. His calf roping, you know, he came up to me tonight after rodeo and he said, man, what was I thinking? Well, you got a broke barrier. You know, 18-8, it's not going to help, but if he comes back and ties 4, 5, and 7 and wins 50, 60,000 and wins the 4th in the average, happens to move up, we've never seen 4 buckles, you know, like that where he just came in with 2 of them locked in. 2 of them are locked in. He's already won 1 and 1's locked. So a chance to win 4 is unbelievable.
Another just an interesting thing, Billy Ettbauer's won 51 rounds here, and Trevor's at 48.
How many's Cody won in one event? Yeah, 46, I think, in one event. Yeah, before tonight? Yeah. I think. I mean, I thought it was at 44 or something.
It's middle 40s.
Yeah, and that's in one event. You know, and I'm telling you right now, y'all, at his mental game right now and as pumped up as he is, I made a prediction yesterday. I said he'll win 105 or 106,000. He'll win 4 go-arounds, and I think he's your world champion. So there's 50 in one event. Billy Ettbauer, Cody Wall, Trevor's won them in 3 events, 4 actually counting the heeling. But if you want to pick a winner in this arena, you pick Billy Ettbauer and you pick Cody Wall.
And as far as events, I thought, especially the tie-down, it's just so wide open and exciting. The other thing I thought was Cody looks like he's come into this deal in shape. Boyd, how much weight have you lost since last year when you were here? At least 25 pounds. I haven't seen you. I haven't seen you in a year. So but to me, Cody looks more trim and ready to go.
Well, let me tell you what he said today. We were tying the kids. He sweats like, you know. I mean, you know, you get competitive and you get at it, and you know, there's 4 or 5 of us that just sweat a lot. A couple of us had previous lives may have caused some of that, you know. And he just sweats running off of him, and he comes over and he says, "Hey B, guess what they just told me?" I said, "What?" He said, "They told me I look like I trimmed down." And I said, "Well, have you?" He said, "Hell no, but I'm gonna win."
I'm on the same deal. Nobody noticed I've lost 18 pounds because he's lost 32.
You look good,
64
Bob.
years old. Yeah, Donnie knows my doctor. We're not going to go there, okay?
So are you going to tell him that Donnie's water broke?
I'm going to tell him Donnie's water broke. He lost 5 pounds on stage. I want to tell y'all something real quick. You go any show, any place you want.
I love being a prop.
In Vegas, but when you come to a Boyd gaming operation and you come to the Gold Coast, what you just heard right there in about 9 or 10 minutes, you will learn more about every performance and about every contestant more on this stage than you will when you listen to Boyd and I all night, because we are limited by seconds and transitions and turns of how we produce this rodeo. You can't imagine the power and tension that's in it. You will learn more. What little you learn from us out there driving it, you'll learn more from, well, this guy is amazing. But those 2 men, and Dan's got the storylines and asked the questions. Boyd and I are just blessed to be here late as we're coming, sorry. But I want you to know something. Thanks to Jackie Ferrando's help in letting us in the back door, you can actually make it from the Thomas and Mack Arena in a rainstorm to the back parking lot of the Gold Coast Hotel, a Boyd Gaming property, in 8.5 minutes. Now tell the Highway Patrol to kick my butt on that one.
If you let Rod Hay do it, 4.5.
I'm walking.
Don't ride with a Canadian, because every time they run somebody off the curb, it's, hey!
And since they did the bragging, and we're out of time here tonight, it's going by so quickly, and we have a lot of prizes to give away here. But Boyd and Bob, I tell you this every year, you two, this is the toughest rodeo crowd in the world, and you saw it again tonight when you're watching on television. They're sitting there with their notes, and they're keeping stats and everything else. But I truly believe these guys add the color to this great palette of
these 2 guys
rodeo.
make the rodeo
no question
in the Thomas
about
and
it.
Mack.
Boyd Polhamus, Bob Tallman. 16 times for Boyd, 24 times And I'm honored that you guys are here tonight and appreciate so much what you bring to this.
We're
And
blessed. Thank
I
you.
really think it's going to get exciting. It really is going to be very, very exciting. We had another question. Somebody wanted to know how long Donnie had known Herman Cain when they met. We'll get that tomorrow night. I want to tell you that we've got...
and you have been the heel tonight, hadn't you?
I'm telling you.
Yeah. Yeah, but the check cashed, and so let's talk about the prizes that we have tonight. We've got a lot of sponsors this year. As you can tell, as you look behind us, it's incredible in year number 5 what National Finals tonight has become, and it's because of these men that are sitting on the stage. But the sponsors, it's darned impressive, isn't it, back there?
Those boot barn people, they fell for it again, didn't they?
They're in.
The corporate execs are back there someplace tonight. And
Dan Stark is sitting right over there.
I've been shopping there already.
Yeah, Dan Stark is sitting right over there from Boyd Gaming, and we appreciate so much,
Got him some
Dan.
business today because the guy that runs errands for us today left his boots in the cab.
Really?
Yeah, Hambo.
Yeah.
Hambo leaves his boots in the cab.
Well, Joe's trying to get to the TV for the production meeting and everything, and he nearly choked a cab driver. So
He let me out.
But he
You
let
can't-
him
you
out.
can't touch him.
He put him out of the
If you
cab.
touch a cab driver, they will let you out without paying the fare. Trust me.
And let me
You
tell
have to
you.
get another cab, but he will let your ass out.
Hey, Boyd did it last night. He turned a Chinese gentleman into an Irish driver. He did it last night.
Let's talk about the things that we have to give away. And here are the rules. You have to be here, of course, to win. All these guys will help us here with the prizes. It usually gets pretty nuts here. But let's start off with our first from the Boot Barn. As Bob was just talking about, we have gift certificates for the Boot Barn. And this first one, Donnie, this first gift certificate, as he puts on his spectacles, is going to go to...
Rick Arnold. Moses Lake, Washington. You
Rick
here,
Arnold, are you here tonight?
Come on, just come on up
Where's
here.
he at? Yes,
Rick,
coming
are
right.
you here?
Yep, there he is,
You
right
better
there.
holler. We'll give
He's
this
coming right
gift
up here. We'll give
certificate
you
to
this one.
somebody else.
Joe, we've got another one. Donnie, you've got that. Let's give away another one. Rick, here you go.
All right, Tom Piantes, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Thank you very much.
Tom, you here?
Tom, are you here? We go quickly here. So going once. Oh, right there he is. He's coming. He's coming this way. I'll take care of that, Donnie. Let's move to the next one.
Pair of Wrangler jeans. Evelyn Johnson. Evelyn Johnson.
Evelyn
you here?
Johnson is right over here. Come on up here, Evelyn.
Down.
Another pair of Wranglers, Donnie. Who you got?
All right,
Tom,
Marley
you're over
Darren.
here.
It's Marley Darren. And I believe this is from Morris. And I don't know what state you put down there.
Here she comes. Joe right here, this lovely lady here. Do we have a winner on that? Are they here? Yep. Right back here coming, Donnie. Right back here, this gentleman right here. Let's go to the next thing. We have 2 gift certificates for Justin Boots, correct? So let's read the first one on that. Joe, do you have it?
Yes, I have a Will Morris. Will Morris from Reno.
Will, are you here? Right here, absolutely.
Morris, Illinois. Okay, we're glad you're here.
Terrific. We have another for a pair of Justin Boots. Man, we appreciate these sponsors so much and their contribution to National Finals tonight. Here you go, gift certificate for Justin Boots. Thank you very much. Here you go. All right.
All right, Bob Redpath, Brooks, Alberta. Bob, you here? Going once.
Going once.
Bob Redpath,
Going
Brooks,
twice.
Alberta, Canada.
Jackie, give me another one for the boots.
Nope. How about Dave Hooks, Olathe, Colorado?
Dave's right over here. Very good. Pair of Justin Boots for him. What do you have next there, Joe?
J.W. Brooks hat certificate,
Oh.
$250 off of a 100X or $150 off of a 20X. How about Jim Mullings?
Come on up
Now
here.
see,
Jim.
tomorrow night we expect to see you in a damn hat.
That's awesome.
On either a 100X or a 20X, we don't care.
Donnie, you've got one we've got another one of those hats to give away.
All right, another J.W. Brooks hat. $250 off. Yeah.
Here, Jackie.
Val Byram.
Who is it?
Val Byram. B-Y-R-A-N.
No change in your name now at the last second. Going once, going twice. Grab another one there. Here you go, Joe. Who is it?
Okay, Sherry Morgan, Afton, Minnesota.
Is that coming back here? Here she comes,
All
right
right.
back here. Outstanding. We have a Montana Silversmith belt buckle. A friend Steve Miller at Montana Silversmiths.
You ready for that?
I am. Lay it on me, Joe.
Doug Schaefer. Doug Schaefer, you in the house?
Doug going once.
Man, you can't get it right, can you? Hey, next time when he points, get
Donnie,
up,
grab
okay?
another one over there. This is for the Montana Silversmiths buckle. Who is it, Joseph?
Alan Sparks. Alan Sparks.
Right over here. Right over here. Come on up here. Absolutely.
That'd have been the time you got up when somebody came, huh?
Donnie, hold up that vest there, will you? Or hand it to me. And now, Joe, hold it to this camera right over here, if you would, please.
These are the best vests in Las Vegas.
Absolutely. Here's your belt buckle. Congratulations,
All right, and
Donnie. This first vest is going to...
This is going to Carla Nixon, Leffew, Oklahoma. Carla? All right. And it will look good on you.
Here you go, Joe. If you will hold this up as well. Joe, this aren't these great bags?
Oh, yeah.
Boyd Gaming, huh? Let's find out who's won that.
Have wheels, will travel.
Bifocals.
They're for reading, not reaching out. Either.
Who is it, Donnie?
Boy.
Jim?
Gilland?
Jim Gilliland. Jim, are you here? Right back here, he's coming
Somewhere
back here. Jim
in
Gilliland.
Washington State.
He
From
waited
Washington
till nobody
State.
answered. He came on. That's how you play the game.
You either are a doctor or your penmanship stinks.
This Fender guitar right here. This Fender guitar has been signed by George Strait. And if we had a little more time, Boyd would sing you a tune on this deal right here. Fender guitar and autographed by George Strait. Joe, do you have a winner for that?
Boy, Alan Sparks would have made a haul if he'd have been here.
Move on. Get another one.
Oh, he's here. He got the buckle.
Oh, my God. Can you win twice,
too?
Jackie? No, I'm sorry. You got to keep your buckle. And it looks darn good on you, too. That guitar,
Sorry
try
about
again,
that.
Donnie.
All right, John Visser, Spiritwood. Well, it's John Visser.
Here you
No,
go.
I can see it. I just don't know what the hell it says.
Is this
I
him
have
coming
no
right
idea.
here? John?
Tell me your phone number.
701 area code. That'd be North Dakota. Well,
Three
won't you
zeros
make
close
an
enough.
ND? That looked like a WO.
That's a W.O.
He bought a horse from Joe.
That's the one that didn't pay. He's just a little sore. Walk him off a little bit.
That
before you
guitar
get off.
so you can sing to him. He'll work better.
You had to walk
We
him
hope you
off.
enjoyed National Finals tonight. We hope you make time to go upstairs now to the Buck and Ball. Gary Leffew, the Ace in the Hole band
the
members
band
will be
are
up there
cranking
playing
up.
for you. You guys signing any autographs? If you would like to get an autographed picture of Donnie Gay and Joe Beaver, and they will be right down front. Thank you for coming. Give yourselves a hand. Wyoming, thank you for being here this evening. National Finals tonight. Take it out, guys.
Thank you for watching and attending the show. We hope you enjoyed this presentation of National Finals tonight at the Gold Coast, where all the Cowboys go after the rodeo. We look forward to seeing you again tomorrow, same time, same place. This has been a presentation of Boyd Gaming. The fun isn't over yet. We invite you to head upstairs for Gary Leffew's legendary Buck and Ball. Live music with members of George Strait's Ace in the Hole band. Dancing, beer and drink specials, a mechanical bull, and best of all, no cover charge. We're gonna party till the cows come home at the Buck and Ball.